Hi, John Parrillo here with Perillo Performance, and this is our trainer Nate. Okay, Nate, we like Nate. He makes me look tall. Okay? Anyway, we get all kinds of training questions. So we have a guy named Mike writes us. Of course, he got in a contest, came in second. Of course, he should have won his class in the overall. I know where he's coming from there. Been there, done that, and then I've also judged. So, but to make sure he wins next time and improves, he wants to know, how do I work on this and how do I do that? So he says, okay, I'd like to ask John to give me pointers to improve my quads and calf muscles. Specifically my rectus femoris in his legs and then his calves. Now, he said for his calves, he said he's been doing the 100 rep sets with his leg bent back, and that basically gets the soleus, and that lies under the gastrocnemius, that spreads your calf out, gives the diamond shape. He said he's been doing the 100 rep sets, but he said he's been using 35 pounds. As they say on Mythbusters, there's your problem. Okay, you have to do the 100 reps, but you got to use a lot of weight. So what you do is you pick a weight that you can maybe do 15 to 20 reps by yourself. And you can't get any more than that. And then you have somebody help you. Now, our seated calf has a nice forced rep handle on it, makes it easy. But you then have somebody force you out to the rest of the 100 rep set. You got to do a lot of reps, and you got to go heavy for calves, both seated and standing. So try using more weight and more forced reps on the calves. Now, rectus femoris, let's show you how to do that. Okay, our quadriceps, they call them quadriceps, and we basically have here, look at this. Those are white legs. Put your leg out here, Nate. Okay, no, just put your leg out here. We have our quadriceps here. We have our vastus medialis, vastus lateralis, and vastus intermedius. And then over the intermedius lies the rectus femoris. Now, they all attach to the patella here, but the vasti muscles attach to the femur, the upper leg, but the rectus femoris crosses the hip joint and ties into the hip. So, okay, we know that, so here's how we're going to learn. So, okay, they all work to do this. Okay, bring the leg up. So then, how do we emphasize the rectus femoris? Okay, first, Nate, we'll show you, do a regular leg extension here. Just come up and squeeze. Squeeze real hard. Where do you feel that? Right down in here? Okay, come on, do another one. Squeeze right down in here. Now he's feeling the vasti muscles. Now, if we want to bring the rectus femoris into play, he's going to do another rep. He's going to squeeze and lift. Lift. Go ahead, do a couple reps. Squeeze and lift. Now one motion, squeeze and lift. You feel that up in here? Okay, now you're making the rectus femoris really work, and at the same time, of course, you're going to want the separation of rectus femoris. Okay, your vasti muscles have contracted all the way, then the rectus femoris is contracting a little bit more because you're lifting. That's going to help separate it from the vasti muscles, okay? So you're going to get the separation. Now, of course, what else do we use to get separation? Once we get a pump, we actually want to stretch that out. Remember the fascial stretching? So when you're doing your lunges, after you get your legs pumped, you're doing your set of lunges, what you want to do, show them how to do this, Nate, when you do your lunges. Okay, lunges, you want to now show them a regular lunge. Go down. This is a regular lunge. You're going down. Now, notice when you're doing a regular lunge, you're going down. You're really working the vasti muscles, because the rectus femoris is you shorten this up here. It can contract, but it can't get any real leverage because it has nothing to pull against. Now, if you put it back here, it can pull more. As well as working the vasti muscles, and you're going to feel lunges, especially right around the knee, we want to stretch the rectus femoris. Change legs. Change leg. So when you do your lunges, throw your hips into it and keep your back leg straight So on the one side, you're working really the vast thigh muscles, and on the other side, you're stretching that out. You're stretching the rectus femoris, and that's going to help give you separation in that muscle. Okay, so those are two things you can work on. I think you're going to, when you do your leg extension, just try to extend and lift. Start out lighter than you've been doing, and you're really going to feel it in the rectus femoris. Okay. Then he wants to know. Okay, we'll take just a pause here till we get up the other end of the gym, and we're going to. He has some questions on chest, so we'll get up there in a second. Remember, Perillo Performance, www.perillo.com, and I think this is good. So we get a lot of questions like this, so we'll start answering these on the videos. Okay, we're at the other side of the gym, all set up. Mike also wants to improve his upper chest. Okay, and he says, what can I do to improve my upper chest? I do a lot of upper chest movements instead of flat bench movements. Okay, and he lists all kinds of stuff he does, but he says he still needs to improve his upper chest. So let me set this down, and it's not just the movement. Is you got to keep the leverage on the clavicular portion of the pectoral. In other words, the tendon ties into to your humerus, your upper arm, and it brings the arm forward like this. Well, there's the clavicular portion ties into your collarbone, and then the sternal portion of the pec ties into your sternum. Well, your upper pec is the part that ties into basically the collarbone and then the first part of the sternum. In some bodybuilders, you can see a nice line there that delineates the, they call it the lower pec or the upper pec, or the clavicular and sternal portion of the pec. Now, here's one thing you can do to see how you're doing. If you take your hand, put it across your pectoral here, touch your shoulder, and then push forward like this. A lot of people, when you get to you start out here, and then when you get to the top, you feel what's working. It's like, well, gee, now I'm pushing out, but I'm pushing with my deltoid instead of my upper pec. So a lot of people start with the sternal portion of the pec, and then they bring their shoulder into it. They end up basically working the front deltoid. Okay. So now, while you're in this position, if you pull your arm down to your waist using your pec minor, serratus anterior, lower latch, you'll find now that your deltoid muscle is not even flexed anymore, and now the clavicular portion of the upper pec that you need to work on is what you're using. So let me show you a real good, and I learned this way back when I was powerlifting. One of the guys, Mike Magruder, he was one of the first guys to bench over 600 pounds. These guys did it in a t-shirt, okay, and he was a 220 pounder. And I was talking to, and everybody, I think at a YMCA national meet, and everybody from his gym had these upper pecs that were so thick they could just put their chin on like this. And I was talking to his brother, who was also just an ungodly bench press. I said, man, you guys must do a lot of incline benches. And he says, we don't have an incline bench in the gym. I said, what in the heck do you do for your upper chest? I mean, these guys had the thickest upper chest you could even imagine. He says we do this, and I'll show it to you. And we call these Magruders in my gym ever since. And it's a bench press to the neck, but you got to do them right. Go ahead down here, Nate. So if we want to stretch, go ahead, get your grip. Now here's the thing: you bench press to the neck, but there's things you have to do. You have to tuck your chin to your chest. You have to hold it like that. If you put it back here, it'll move it. It's there. When you tuck your chin, it tends to hold your shoulders down, so you pinch it right there. You bring the weight down, you bring your elbows out, and you bring the weight down right to where you touch it, right in there, and then push up. And you'll feel that. See, he's working it right across that upper pec. The nice thing about this, go ahead, do a few. You feel it there? You get a good stretch, and you're working here. Notice this part of the pec really isn't working. You're working it right up here. The nice thing about this, you want a thick pec. You can go real heavy in this, so it'll really develop some thickness. Okay? Another thing is, when you're doing your incline work, is remember this thing where we got our shoulders, we got our shoulder down like this, so we kept the leverage on the pec. Now, I'm famous for making these arched benches, and we actually sell these if you need one. You can contact us. But this basically throws your chest up and your shoulders back. Now, on a regular incline bench, it's easy to come down and put all the effort into your shoulders. When you're down like this and you're pushing up, and this is set up right, all the leverage goes into the upper pec. When you're flat on a bench, a lot of times your shoulders come forward and you're using front delt. So you want that thickness in the upper pec. Now too, when you bench, if you bench right, if you bench wrong and you're always pushing like this, you'll tend to push your sternum in. So you get your rounded shoulders like this, and you say, well, I can't get a thick chest. So you got a big lower pec, you got a big lower pec, you got nothing in here, and you got big shoulders and a flat sternum. If you bench right and pull your shoulders down, especially with your pec minors that tie your shoulder in your third, fourth, fifth, and sometimes sixth rib, those will, it'll take about 2 or 3 years, but those will start bringing that sternum out. So it goes like, so you won't be like this, so you'll be like this. So if you bench right, that'll come out and you'll develop the upper chest. So go ahead and do some of these, Nate. Now you don't have to pinch on this, but see, we're working it right across here. And when you're properly set up, and these benches work so well for this, you can't round your shoulders out and use your front delts. It basically keeps all the leverage on the pec. Now I got one more thing I want to show you. We named this exercise after me. This is Perillo Dips. Okay, we'll take a pause here. We get over so we can show you how to do Perillo Dips. Okay, here we are over by the adjustable dip here. And remember now, we want to, whenever this shoulder comes up, if this shoulder comes up, it's the front delt doing all the work, okay? So we want to work the muscles that both pull the sternum up and pull the shoulder down so we can keep the leverage, especially on the clavicular part, and work the whole pec, the upper pec. So now I originally developed this for power lifters so they could give more weight because the pec is a much bigger muscle than the front delt. So what we do is, this is a dip, but we're not moving our arms. This is a dip with our shoulders. So what we're going to do is, we especially want to work the pec minors, okay? So we're going to bring our knees up and stick our butt back, and see how this throws us forward right onto the pec minor. Now if we would do them like this would actually get the lower runs of the runs on the latissimus dorsi that go all the way down to the hip, okay? But if we bring it up like this, we're getting over into the pec minors. So we're doing boom like this. We're squeezing, we're pushing up and pushing out at the same time. See how I'm moving there? And that's developing. And we push our chest out and squeeze, put our chest out and squeeze. And you can do these and you can hang weight. And if you want to see, and they're a stabilizing muscle, so the leverage stays on the pec. If you want to see just fatiguing these muscles, what it can do to your bench when things shift, try to do several sets of these and do them with some hanging weights, and then go over there and see what you can bench. You probably won't be able to bench basically about half of what you can bench. So these stabilizing muscles in the shoulder are really important to hold it down so the leverage stays on the pec, which is a much bigger muscle than the front delt. So if you learn how all this works, you can develop your chest like you want to. So I hope that helps. Be sure and visit us at www.Parrillo.com, and we'll be doing more of these in the future. Mike, I almost forgot. When you're trying to gain muscle, okay, you got to gain some weight too. So from your pictures, you got a great physique, you're really ripped, but when you're working your chest, working your calves, eat enough good food to make your weight go up, make your lean mass go up, do your body stats, so at the same time you're training the heck out of your body parts, gain some weight. That's the easiest way to gain muscle where you want to gain it.